Hey, hey, conscious day to every single one of you. Welcome to Deep Intentions, where every week at 12 p.m., your coach Ambereen shows up here ready to serve you. It's truly an honor to cross paths with you and to be here in this very moment because today is Conscious Day. So be aware, be present, and prioritize yourself. I really appreciate you for giving me the most important commodity, which is your time. With that said, welcome to Spanglish World Network and Zingo TV, channels 249, 250, and 251. Please remember to download our application. Drop us a review. Let us know we're doing well. Let us know what needs to change. That is very, very, very important for us. So that way we can serve you better. As always, the app is completely free, supported on any TV, any smart TV, 2016 on forward, alongside with the Roku lineup, Amazon, the whole spiel, and even on your Chromecast devices. Now, also, iOS, Android, it's all there. The beautiful thing is you can download it and then talk to us. You can chat with us live if you want to drop questions, if you want to share what's resonating well with you, because those simple moments that we all start to grow and learn a little bit more from ourselves and with each other. All right, like every single week, we bring on the best of the best individuals who are living and leading intentional lives. So Adele Bonnaffons is no different. Not only is she a mother, but she's also a grandmother. She's an endurance athlete, a marathon runner, a cyclist, a swimmer, a tennis champion. She also loves her family, so she's going to drop in a little bit of that sisterhood. And she has a significant partner in her own relationship. Professionally, she's from the high performance coaching, family where her and I kind of have met, and we've gone through the exact same program where we serve individuals. Now, Adele's also a motivational speaker and a fitness, nutrition, and transformational coach. So, welcome to the show, Adele.
Hello, everybody. How are y'all? It's great to be here with Ambereen.
Yes, indeed. As always, we've had many side chats, but this is different. This is like you and I are going to have a deeper conversation today.
Yes, we are. I
So,
hope we
tell us
dive
something
in
about.
and help everybody.
Yes, tell us something about you. Who are you and what is it that you do, Adele?
Okay, so first of all, I have to tell you, I have a birthday coming up. So I will be 67 in about 3 weeks.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and 67 incredible years, and they're always a gift. Every day is a gift. I have a beautiful son. Adam is 34, married to Megan with two my handsome grandsons, Braylon 13 and Cooper almost 6, and a beautiful daughter Callie, married to her wonderful husband Michael. And I have a significant other in my life, Larry, and incredible support from family and friends. I come from a big Catholic family. We all grew up in Catholic schools in the New Orleans area, which is my hometown, and I love it dearly. So I'm a Southern girl from Louisiana.
Love that. So there is a little bit of static while you're speaking. I don't know where that's coming from because
Okay.
prior to the show it wasn't there, but it's like this stat. It could also be my end too. I don't know.
Okay.
Um.
It's quiet over here, so let me know if you still hear it, okay?
Okay. All right. We'll do a little bit of troubleshooting while going along. Now, what is it that you do, Adele? You kind of shared with us all the ways that you are affiliated with family, but what is it that you do?
Okay, so my basic days, I'm into fitness as we talked about earlier. So I do always have my fitness routine in the morning with a basic morning routine. But my son owns a gym with our nutrition business, and I'm very, very involved with them over there. But one of the biggest things that I do is just really get into the middle of helping people transform their lives. So through the gym and through the other connections that I have, it's a lot of things about fitness and nutrition, but it's really all about transforming lives. If you walk in our doors or anywhere close to me, leave your troubles away. You're going to come in, you're going to smile, you're going to be happy, and we're going to make you feel really good about yourself. But on my end, the experience and the wisdom from the 67 years and some really tough life experiences as well as some really incredible life experiences allow me the opportunity to be completely open and available to pretty much everybody that I come in contact with. It's I'm gonna find your name and smile with you every chance I get. So that's kind of my basic day.
All right. So now you said something I think that's profound, and I'm sure you knew you were saying that is through the difficult life challenges.
Hmm.
Could you share with us some of those challenges that kind of morphed you into becoming this woman who's like an iron woman who could do it all? So what if I'm 67? No big deal. I'm gonna keep charging.
And look, I have to tell you, one of my crazy things that I live by, Ambereen, is age is only a matter of mind. If you don't mind, it don't matter. So age is just really a number. It's how you live your life and how the spirit you have. But I am a cancer survivor. I am also gone through the life changes of bearing both parents. They would be in their 90s now. I didn't have them as long as I would have liked to, but I went through that life changing experience for both my parents, and some losses along the way. I did end my marriage with my children's husband, my children's father, who we have this incredible relationship now, probably better than when we were married. So things changed in life, over the last 20 years. And I think one of the biggest things is having a very active, very compassionate, very faith filled lifestyle. When the cancer diagnosis came, I was only married 2 years. I was the age of 30, come from a big family, always wanted children, and I was diagnosed with cervical and uterine cancer. So that is pretty much a very morbid diagnosis for someone who wants to have children. And unfortunately for me, I did receive that in my early years. I was 30 years old. I battled it for 10 years. And on my 40th birthday, I was given the incredible news that my biopsy for the first time was clear. And for those 10 years I battled the cancer, I had both of my children, which is miraculous. I'm very, very blessed. So every day is a gift, and that's how I wake up every day, is understanding that the sun and the moon are there for me to make the best of the day that I have and be the best that I can be to share my gifts that I'm so blessed to still be able to share after all these years. 27 years clean on my birthday this year. I'm so excited.
Well, that's a beautiful way to kind of frame it. Because oftentimes I think when we think about battling cancer for 10 years and being told, in a way that, hey, you know what, you're not really going to tap into motherhood. Yeah, you want to become a mom, that matters to you, but maybe this is like the ultimate test. Now, what was it during that time where you knew there was more than just cancer, that you, like the cancer was a challenge, right? But you knew that there was more to
Yes.
life.
Yes, it was a challenge. It made the family dynamics really kind of tough. I did not have Adam or Callie at the time of my diagnosis, but they did come into my life. Eddie and I were blessed to have those two children. Very surprisingly, Adam was 2, and I was 2 years into my diagnosis at that point. I had him at 32. Callie, I was 37 when I had Callie, obviously 7 years into my diagnosis. So at the age of 40, I'm looking at having a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old and not knowing if I will be around to raise them. And there were struggles with Eddie and I through all that period of time too. Having some family dynamics, the relationship itself was very stressed over the course of numerous surgeries. And let me preface that I did not do radiation or chemo treatment during those 10 years on purpose, because I did want to try to have my children, and I was very blessed to have them, as I mentioned. So there were surgeries every 2 to 3 months. There were more severe surgeries with the information that was given to me through the biopsy surgery. So there were numerous things, and I think the biggest challenge is looking at that every day and laying there, knowing that if I'm blessed to wake up the next day, there's a reason for it. And I think the biggest way I dealt with it was I was running and playing a high level of competitive tennis at the time. Those were my release symptoms, my release mechanisms. Going for a run every morning if I was anxious or just really stressed and something was coming up, or I was waiting for results from surgeries. I'd go for some of the best runs I ever had because I could just let it all go. I could cry, I could scream, I could just be quiet. They released all of that anxiety, so it made me able to conquer the day. I was playing championship level tennis, so I had great support with friends and family for that, which allowed me to get away from the reminders that, okay, yes, I'm dealing with this. Will I have children? So I didn't have to think of it all the time. And I will be very honest with you. that I've learned over all these years, and this is probably one of the things a gift I can share with a lot of people that are in your circles, Ambereen. I'm a marathon runner. I did not run my first marathon till right after my 40th birthday when I had my first clear biopsy in 10 years. I cried the last 3 miles into that marathon, into the finish line, because I was still there to do it. And I realized that no matter what, I was always going to be a marathon runner, but I was also always going to be a mom. I've been blessed to be a grandmother, a wife, and a sister and a daughter. I had that memory when I crossed that finish line because those 26 miles were run with a certain name on each mile. Not just mine, but the people close to me that I live with so very much. My two children were there as well. My husband was there as well at the finish line, my mom. And the biggest thing was I was there. And I've learned that no matter what struggles I deal with, I can look back and say I made it through so that each new day gives me the new opportunity to share whatever love and compassion that I can give to someone else. And there are a few things that made me realize no matter what struggles Eddie and I had, and I love him dearly, that it was more really about how we raised our children. And we did a really great job at doing that together, even though we were apart after they became adults. And I moved on 5 minutes away. But that was also a major lesson because it took a lot of courage to do that. And I think the biggest thing is it's not a miracle that I finished a race or I finished a decision or I finished a task. It's that I took that first step out the door to do any of that. And if it was making that courageous decision to end the marriage, which allowed my husband to have an incredible relationship with his children, I was no longer really overseeing everything. That was a true gift. I didn't realize it, and it is bittersweet, but he has such an incredible relationship with Adam and Callie and my grandchildren now that he wouldn't have had if I was always taking care of everything. That was a gift. The other thing is that sharing with people on the walks or the runs or the sitting on the side cheering a teammate on a tennis match, you never know what impact you have on someone if all you simply do is share a smile and listen to their story. And I'm so much better at that now every day that giving people that gift to talk about them and share a piece of their heart is quite a reward to me. And I've learned that through all these 37 years now since that first diagnosis came. So I feel truly blessed.
There's a ton that you've shared, which I think is, kind of morphing into what it is to live an intentional life.
Hmm.
Looking at every single day as an opportunity to share love and compassion, you said. Making the
Hmm.
courageous decision to leave, a marriage that wasn't serving you or your family, and then recognizing that that gift became the ultimate because the two of you could parent better away from each other and give your children the life that they deserved. Now, help us kind of walk through that the level of courage, because there are many people, I believe, who are in relationships that are kind of, with this mindset that I was also given, that two parents together is much better for the kid and the family than separate two parents in two different homes. And
Hmm.
that if you really care about your kids and your family, you're gonna suck it up and go through the motions and keep this marriage going for as long as you can, even though even though in our hearts we know that's not the truth. Now, what prompted you to making that courageous decision to, in a way, to say, I choose myself?
I think that's exactly it. I think that was exactly it. And a lot of it had to do with my family upbringing. I was very blessed to have a very close knit family, but two parents together till they died. That was a huge influence in my life. And if you asked me my two greatest role models, it would be my mom and my dad, obviously, because of who they are and who they were to me through all of my years before they did pass. I think the courageous part was having a conversation with my mom and dad at one point, knowing that I wanted to be the best wife I could be and be the best mom I could be at that point in time. My kids were teenagers. Adam was in college. Callie was just finishing high school. And I waited to that point after working with Eddie on so many different things. And we decided it was best to at least live apart and see what we could do to work out for about 6 months. And the biggest thing that changed my mind to not continue in the marriage, living together at that point, was I needed more and wanted more. And he was very much into his routine with his job and providing for all of us. That wanting and needing more, despite the fact of where we were in life, we had resources to do things for our children to educate them, spend some family time together. He didn't have that same desire I had. And that's not a criticism. That's just the way my husband, my ex-husband Eddie is. And he's like that to this day. 72 years old, and I could go out and I'll take a trip today if I want to.
Mhm.
He's very much comfortable in a little routine and at
Mhm.
home. And because of dealing with the things I dealt with through cancer and wanting to do things with the kids and having them go through all of these incredible activities and experiences in their lives that I felt I provided for them by being there with them. Um, that was pretty much the deciding factor. When he said, "No, I really don't want to," I'm like, "Okay, well, let's just live separate and apart." We didn't even sign papers for a few years. It wasn't that
Mhm.
important. That we neither one of us had anyone else in our lives. It was just better for us not to live in the same household. And the kids saw the amount of stress that was relieved from both of our shoulders by not having that tension come back in and out, and knowing that we really loved each other and still do, but yet it wasn't the best environment. And they were both academic scholars, both my children. They were both high level ambassadors to life and to their friends and athletes and leaders and all that. So they had all the package together. But to relieve that stress, knowing that mom and dad weren't really giving each other what they truly deserved as a husband and a wife, living together, now they see how we get along, and it's amazing. Callie got married a year and a half ago, and the best times were conversations I had with Eddie through the course of her preparation. Adam and Megan have been married, 7 or 8 years now, and through the course of their wedding preparations, it was a very quick preparation time, but we spent all the time together. No arguments, no anxiety, no tension. Truly, truly, I consider more unconditional on our communication level. And that is a gift that my kids have seen. And they know that we do all our family days together now. Doesn't matter where it is, we do them all together. My birthday's coming up. I said, tell dad to come with us for cake and ice cream. I'll give him a call. I'm truly blessed on that part of my life. And then there's other parts that have really been rewarding and incredibly blessed for me because I was not in that marriage any longer. Meeting other people, having a little bit more freedom, a lot of struggles as well. However, it allowed me a little bit more flexibility and a lot more freedom and courage to chase some of my dreams.
I think the whole time you've really tied this theme in of living intentionally, but I do want to ask you, what does
Mhm.
that mean for you to live an intentional life?
I say prayer every morning. I walk outside to find the moon and the sun. And my prayer is, oh, dear Jesus, thank you for this beautiful day. Let me be present, take action, inspire, and serve. And that's every day of my life. And I think that, in a nutshell, will tell you what my intention is every day. If I can impact my life by doing something that's satisfying and rewarding to me, which today I'm having the opportunity and privilege to be here with you, means so much to me because it's an experience that I can't trade and don't want to. So if I can intentionally walk out my door every morning and be joyful and happy, no matter what the struggle is, and not allow other people to distract me from what my chosen path is that day, that's my intention. But also, my intention is to share my gifts, whoever I may come in contact. A lot of new people cross my path every day between the fitness and the nutrition and the running, walking, just the grocery store, Walmart, wherever I am. And my intention is to just be kind because you never know what effect that will have on someone if you share a smile. What they may be going through that day, and someone just says hello and thank you for your efforts today for making
Mm.
my experience here that much nicer. It changes their whole perspective. That's one of my intentions every day as well.
I think oftentimes we think of going above and beyond, right?
Hmm.
However, there is, a spiritual saying as well for us that, a smile is such a great act of charity. Um,
Hmm.
and in the world that we live in now, we don't see everyone smiling. We don't see people with high upbeat like vibrations. We kind of see a lot of mundaneness, people who are not even present, I would say, most of the
Hmm.
time, even if you're at a grocery store or if you're at a party, you can look around and you're like, okay, yeah, humans are here, but no one's connecting, right? And I think that is truly something, being more intentional, being more present. I love what you said about, that daily prayer of let
Hmm.
me be present, take action, inspire, and serve. And today we're talking about a lot about this essence of performance and fitness. So
Hmm.
I do want to ask you, how did you begin this journey? You're doing exceptionally well and your body's still strong, fit, healthy, and to be able to run as much as you do. I know you just shared with me that you swim, you swam today 2 miles just because that was kind of the thing to do today. How did that whole thing start, Adele?
Um, when we were kids growing up, just going to the playground, riding our bikes, running around the neighborhood. We were safe in our neighborhood in New Orleans at the time, and we just did everything on our own. Walk to school, ride our bikes, go to the playground if we were involved with a sports team of any sort. The biggest thing for me is I was such a tomboy, and my I have one older brother, and then two sisters behind me, and two brothers behind me. So I'm number two in line, and all I wanted to do was play the sports with his friends. I was always faster than them. I was always better than them. I could throw the ball better than them, and I wanted them to know that, right? So I just got involved with the different things we were doing. We used to play throw the balls on the front yard and run around the neighborhood playing keep away late at night till midnight during the summer. So it was just an active lifestyle. TV, what they have three channels back in the
Mhm.
50s and 60s. But I think the biggest thing that allowed me to get into the fitness arena was being a very gifted athlete and not realizing that
Mm.
till I started playing some tennis when I was 9. When I started running just little track teams at school, and also just taking advantage of every opportunity that came my way. And it became almost like an addiction in a lot of ways to get me through the tougher times. And people that know me know, don't bother me in the morning at 4 o'clock or 4:30. Get out of my way. I'll be back before dawn to get the kids up for school or whatever else I need, because that's my time. And if it's done with some prayers or journaling or a morning routine around the house, I am going to go have a fitness routine or fitness experience, and a fitness event is what I call it, in the mornings, because that makes me feel good, heart, mind, spirit. When I started running, a lot of it was intentional to be a better tennis player. I was playing a very high level of championship tennis. Rarely do people beat a runner on a singles court. And I played singles, doubles, and mixed doubles most of the time in all of my tournaments. So the running gave me the endurance and the strength and the ability to really finish matches. And I had rankings and a lot of success on the tennis years that I played. I'm not playing right now. Um, so that was one thing. And then just getting into it, my husband Eddie ran with me, and just keeping up with it and running all my races in New Orleans, and then getting to the marathon level was truly the distance running came during the 10 years of the cancer diagnosis. And the more I
Mm.
ran, the more I was able to handle the stress of any of those bad biopsies that came back. And you know, being a marathon runner, Ambereen, the different medical struggles that I've had, if somebody says, okay, we're going to do this and you will call you in a week with the results, I'm like, okay. And people wonder why I don't get stressed. I said, because it's a journey. It's like a training of a marathon or for a race. If you want to take my blood work today and call me in a week and tell me that I'm okay, I'm not going to think about it until you call and tell me I'm okay, or there's something to be concerned about, because I'm on a training journey to be happy and successful in my life. So the starting line is that first day of training. The finish line might be the day of that surgery that's going to determine whether or not my prognosis is more severe or my prognosis is getting better. So that's how I always looked at everything, and it's been mind-boggling to people like my sister who took me to surgeries, and she says, "Well, aren't you going to worry about it?" No. Why am I going to worry about it until I have something to worry about? It's a waste of time and energy and effort. So that's another part of that fitness journey. So the performance actually came as I focused more and more on my success in tennis, in running. I cycle now. I swim a lot because Callie was a swimmer when she was young. It gives me a lot of confidence and a lot of stamina, emotionally and spiritually, as well as physically. And eh, right now, if I told someone I was 67 and they saw me out on what I call my trace, where I do my running and biking, it's, "Oh, Miss Adele, you're not that old." I'm like, "Yes, I am." And everybody wants to be me when they grow up.
Ah, amen to that. I think that's brilliant. I think what you've shared, there's so much of wisdom in there. Welcoming every challenge with open arms to say it's kind of here to help me grow, to learn a lesson, to discover my own strength. Pushing past your cancer with saying that I'm not going to take the normal route of chemo. I'm going to go through surgeries, which are very difficult to recover through. So
Mhm.
for me, it's intriguing to find out, how did you build the mindset for those 10 years, when you were diagnosed with cancer, you're 30 until 40, to
Right.
really heal, recover from a surgery and really run it out, to let all those emotions pass, all that stress kind of be left, and not worry. Because in a world that we live in now, anxiety is top of the line.
Right. Right.
People are always anxious. And you
What?
said, I'm not going to be that person.
No, and I think the biggest thing is, because Adam was born 2 years into my diagnosis, I had a young baby, right? Um, I was actually, believe it or not, my cancer diagnosis had gotten severely worse over the 4 years of Adam's life, and I was literally scheduled to have a full hysterectomy when I became pregnant for Callie, who is 5 years younger than Adam. And I was very, very blessed to have that second miracle in my life. So what I focused on a lot, Ambereen, is really my priority as a mother. He was my priority. I needed to be the best I could be on every level of my life, physically, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, in my marriage, in my other relationships, to be the best mom I wanted to be. And I had a great example by my own mom, and I wanted to be at least meet the standards I'd set for myself because of the example in the mom I had, as well as my dad. So a lot of that had the intention to take care of myself, which I ran and exercised physically. I prayed a lot, as you can probably imagine, and I tried to keep grounded with everything I was doing. So that was the intentional part. And a lot of that led me to having more and more goals to, "Oh, I'm going to run a marathon one day because I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I can do this. And I'm going to win that tennis tournament. I'm going to release all that frustration. I'm going to work really hard to get there and be my best partner for my partners, be my best on the singles court. And if I don't win, at least I know I've given it everything I had." Um, and that transferred over into my goals for life. I had an undergraduate degree in psychology and sociology and behavioral sciences and communication and sex therapy, and I have the master's. A couple of years into my master's with the counseling and behavioral sciences as well, and all of that leads to the human resources and the motivation that I was able to find to be successful in sharing those gifts. And the running, I'll be very honest with you, the running and the physical part of my life is based on the performance, and it only matters to me. All my competitive years are done. I've achieved numerous things I went out for goals, things I wanted to run marathons. I wanted to win my tennis matches. I wanted to accomplish this, learn how to swim. I wanted to cycle and ride intervals. That's all the fitness part. The mindset goes into it to say, how much drive do I have? Can I go one more step? Can I swim one more lap? Can I give one more piece of my heart to someone who really needs it? So all of that ties in together to the fitness mindset. Because if you feel really good about yourself, you feel like you have all the energy to share. And when we do some things at the gym, we have our workouts and all that. My son and all the people that know me well and tell the new people, we only do this to keep up with my mom. She's the oldest person in the gym right now, and she'll tell you that. But we try to keep up with her. And I go, yes, but when you get older, you modify. But it is. It's an athlete's mindset to be that much better. And I don't have to prove it to anybody else anymore because I've already proven it to myself. And that's a really nice place to be as I am in my senior years. So I have a lot of fun with it now.
I think there's so much self-reflection
Hmm.
and growth in your own journey. You know, the
Hmm.
things that came from like, oh, I've always wanted to be a mother to now getting diagnosed with the cancer that's saying, no, you wish, that's behind you, to being blessed with two gifts into the world, and then really leading that intentional life where you are, you know, you're role modeling and you're leading your family versus managing them and controlling them, and all kind of
Yeah.
comes from this place of your own upbringing,
Hmm.
of the fact that your parents, you said, were my biggest role models. Now, as you're growing up in the 50s, 60s, like you mentioned, what was that one challenge that your family was facing
Mm.
that you want to share with us?
So I was raised Catholic and we went to Catholic schools. And I know my mom did not work outside of the house. She did the Mothers Club, she did all of our activities, but we had six children at the house. She was very present, so was my dad. I don't know how those two people slept for all those years because I don't think, I just really don't know how they did it. But the biggest challenge we had was we were not affluent in any way financially. My dad um, came out the Air Force in 1955, married my mom. He finished an accounting degree at Loyola University in New Orleans. A year into the marriage with the first child, I came a year later, another baby a year later. Very, very just quick family, all in one. 3 years, three children, and more to follow. We did not have a lot of money. None of us knew that. We lived in what I call now my little Cracker Jack box house in Redwood Street. The three girls in one room. The boy who's the oldest transferred a den into a bedroom. The two little tiny guys together. We didn't know. We didn't have material riches because we had the other riches. And I think the struggle was mom and dad knowing that if they provided really the basics, the rest would come. They have a true faith, but in one another. And that, I think, was the biggest key for us not to sense the struggle. And we were all, luckily, all high academic achievers, which comes from mom and dad. Education was important. Being involved and being of service in the community was extremely important as well because we saw them do it, which transferred to all of our lives. I think that was one of the issues as we were able to get scholarships to high school and provide financial assistance and scholarships to college. We all worked through high school, we had our tuition paid. We all worked through college, we may have had our tuition paid. We may have received other types of financial rewards. I did not know at the time just what the struggle was back at home for the younger boys because at that point in time, my dad was a little bit more successful. The four older ones were on our own, finishing college, going to master's degrees, law degrees, everything we did. We all had, graduate degrees. My sister has, I think, three masters. She's a high level educator, just incredibly gifted and such an inspiration to me as well. And she's younger than me, so she'll tell you. Hopefully, I was an inspiration to her. But the biggest thing is that they taught us where to put our energy, and if
Mm,
we were involved in an activity, be it a fitness or a sport or the band or mainly leadership roles, that it was most important to be compassionate to the people that we were working with and choosing to lead. And we got all of that example from them. I'm truly, truly, truly blessed. I have to give them all the credit. I really do.
So, for every single one of you who is still here, tuned in, listening, I appreciate you. I am forever grateful that you're here in this moment with us, because what I want all of us to take away, including myself, is this idea that we think the richest, the material good is what our family needs to thrive, to succeed, to perform, to elevate. And I often will take my own clients on this understanding of saying, being present, being connected to your kids will serve them far more than getting them the latest phones or like taking them to Disneyland.
Yes.
Because honestly, if you do the same thing at a park where you are the one pushing your child, or
Mhm.
you're waiting for them as they come down the slide, or if they did the monkey bars 2 seconds faster and you give them a high five because you're standing there with your timer, those small things, intentional things, your kids will remember that.
Mhm.
You won't remember that, every 2 years you got them a new phone,
Right.
because the phone doesn't have the same amount of energy and meaning that that small connection does, that spark does. And I think we really do take, away from our children and even away from our partners and our family and our loved ones when we focus on the material wealth,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
that wealth has to be so much more internal, right? Like growing up, I was an immigrant. My parents came here with four of us. Four of us. Okay, so we're a full family done. We're coming back from back home, and we don't know any different. We don't know that we're rich, we're poor, we're average, we're middle class, we're low. Nothing.
Right.
All we knew is that our parents cared.
Right.
They showed us that we mattered, that they gave us time and love and attention and energy. And they really did push us, like you're talking about, where all of you are high performers.
Mhm.
And that wasn't by accident.
Yeah.
It's all by design. And the design is how your parents led all of you,
Mhm.
which I think is so brilliant, because all of you that are listening, including myself, like, cherish those moments, because the impact truly comes with us being mind, body, soul present,
Mhm. Right.
and realizing that even though sometimes, you know, things that come up may not serve us. Sometimes a reaction from your kid, you're just like, I didn't expect that. Like my daughter today, as she's leaving to go to school, she's like, oh God, I don't want to give you a hug. And I was like, oh, ouch. Like that came from a bad place. And then she comes around and she's like, I'm just kidding. Like, but in that split second, I could have just taken that energy and ran with it, or been like, yeah, she's just sparking herself. Like, she's the best actress this world has created. And by this time, I should be a millionaire. She should be a millionaire, and she should be an Oscar winner, right? She's that good, like on demand. And I think, like, coming back to what you're saying, when parents are hardworking, they really set us up for success because they're showing
Mhm.
us through their actions what
Right.
really matters. Now, I want to ask you this question. I want to ask you, like, where can people reach out to you, Adele?
Okay, the biggest thing to do right now is because I'm developing my website is to find me on Facebook at Adele Bonnaffons. Okay, that's the best place to do it. I can get a direct message. And then what I can do is contact anybody that I can through direct messaging. I can give you my text and cell phone number. I won't do it over the medium, but if we can post that later, because I do like to get the text messages, and then definitely my email as well, which we can put in I guess, in your notes after as well. But I am really trying to get that website up and about, and my YouTube channel as well. So right now it would be through the Facebook, Adele Bonnaffons, and of course that transfers over to Instagram as well. And then direct message me, and we can take it from there while everything else is getting set up. And I'm technologically challenged, y'all, so really I have somebody helping me.
Hey, that support and asking for it is the ultimate, because
Right.
we can't be the know-it-all for everything, right? That's why we have our own specialities. Now, walk us through a little bit and kind of let's get into, from our family and our upbringing, let's get into that
Mhm.
career path. You know, let's
Okay.
go into that and share with us what it is that you do with your clients, and how what is someone looking to when they're working with you?
There's a couple of different groups that I'm focusing on, and one would be not just seniors looking for that best senior lifestyle, but the transformation in life, like living your best life, which is somewhat of a cliche in a lot of ways across the board now. But it really is truthfully the thing that I try to do. I do use the fitness and nutrition if it's necessary to help people learn the best options for themselves, especially if it's someone coming to me that definitely needs a fitness or a health transformation that says, I just want to feel better. I want to lose weight. I want to gain weight. I want to go out and walk with my children and I'm just not able to. I'd like to have some energy. And energy is the biggest thing. If you can provide some energy by helping someone transform part of their health and the way they sleep, the way they drink their water, the way they get their rest, the way they block out distractions, the way that someone says, I'm going to leave my phone on the side and walk in my yard and not let anything bother me mentally or spiritually and emotionally for a little while. You got to do it because you transform your ability to be your best version of yourself, which may be another cliche in a lot of ways, but it's the absolute truth. So what I do with my clients, what I'm doing with coaching clients is taking them through, the different frameworks. I know you're familiar with it, but the different frameworks that might address their specific needs. Do they need to focus on some fitness and nutrition? Definitely. I have the knowledge, I have the resources, I have the ability to participate with them. Want to go for a walk? Let's go for a walk and talk and get some good information in their hearts and minds and souls. Let them take that next step on their own, another step towards a healthier journey. With the like the certified high performance coaching platform that we have a certain framework we can use, help people find that focus in their life and find the clarity and the courage to step forward and move in a direction that helps them deal with life in a much better framework. Are they more confident? Do they need to build some self-esteem? Can they remove some of the toxic type of distractions? So there are different avenues to use to help them find the right answers or the best answers for them, and I can help them walk through that journey. There's different sessions that we can talk about, different accountabilities that we have with each other. I do like to give people certain little kind of homework type things, little programs that they can work on till we might have another conversation or another session. And it could be something as simple if they are on a health journey, but also on an emotional and spiritual journey as well, where we're using frameworks like clarity and courage and focus and integrity and influence and how they might communicate with other people. I might give them a little something to work on till we talk in the next few days. And that makes them focus on something that's strictly about them. And when you do the coaching, and you know this as well, Ambereen, you're dealing with individuals as well as families, all different ages and levels of education and abilities. If you give someone something to focus on strictly themselves and they take those few minutes every day, they finish that day stronger. They finish that day stronger, either physically or mentally or emotionally or spiritually, because they've taken those few minutes to say, this is about me, not about anybody else, and I'm going to do this for me. And I think that's a gift that I try to give in the coaching if it's appropriate to what I'm working with that client on. On the fitness and nutrition side of it, I do use that a lot if it's necessary for that particular type of client. So there's transformations on that level. And one of the other things that I'm actually doing right now is I'm building a little bit of a platform with a very good friend of mine who's also a running coach and does Ironmans and all these other crazy things in the fitness arena. But also he's a life coach as well. He has some experience in the certified high performance arena, but also in some other arenas. And we're actually working on developing the mindset and the journey for people who want to run or have an athletic event that they're shooting for, which is a goal. And a lot of people do get those kind of goals as they age a little bit or their life changes, or they say, I need something just for me. a lot of people will turn to a fitness type of event, either a run or a walk or a cycle, or maybe just to go to the park and be able to walk with their children and grandchildren. The biggest thing would be we're allowing them the skill set to do that, but also the mindset and the other things that go with it, which would be the hydration and the change in your lifestyle, which includes the rest and how to adapt with your family lifestyle as well. So we're putting all that together right now as well. I'm excited about that. So there's a couple of little avenues that I'm shooting off of our high performance coaching, and I'm getting more and more response. Um, and I think it's because I'm an example, but I'm also let them know, look, I've got the knowledge. Please use me and accept the fact that I am going to be doing this with your best intentions at heart, your best results and intentions at heart.
I think it's very true. I think anybody that's working with you can kind of see that you're leading the pathway. The 67-year-old woman who's like, yep, I can do it all and I'm still going strong. I think it's such a brilliant testament to how you've led your life. Now, on our show, I mean, I feel like we can talk forever, but on our show, we have this intentional wrap up.
Okay.
And these are just rapid fire questions I'll ask you.
Okay.
One word or one sentence answers. And it's kind of like a great way to sum it all up. Ready, Adele?
I'm ready. I love
Let's
a
do
challenge.
it. Okay. What do you want to leave behind for the world?
That I lived my dash. Born
Oh,
1950, December 6th, 1957, died way, 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 way in the future, but that I lived an inspiring dash in between.
okay. How will you know that you've led an intentional life?
When I am close to the end of my life and I look back at my children and grandchildren, if I've done a good job, they'll be happy.
That's it. That's the one, right? Like those relationships are so important. Now,
Yeah.
this next one, and I really want to commend you before I move on to say thank you for showing us that courageous side of you. Because I think often we do take our families for granted and we don't realize the gifts that they are um, because of the difficulties of life. So, as you think about your own life, what's one law that you could create that everybody had to follow? What would that law be?
I live it every day. Make me a channel of your peace, which is a prayer I learned from my mom. It's the prayer of St. Francis. Let me give, let me live, let me share, and let me know that I've made an impact in someone's life, if only for a moment, that made them smile. My law would be to achieve that as often as possible.
Hmm. Give, live, and share. So I love the simplicity of that. That's brilliant. Okay. There are many lessons that you've shared with us today. If you could just choose one lesson that has made you Adele, what is that lesson?
I don't care what other people think of me. I live my life.
Mm,
I don't need to be liked by everyone. I don't need to be accepted by everyone. Just be kind. I don't have to agree with everyone. Live my life and be kind to others as well.
All right, the last question that I have for you, Adele, is what's the key to a healthy relationship?
Communication.
Mm.
Unconditional, open communication.
Well, thank you so very much, Adele Bonnaffons, for showing up here. All of you who are listening and tuned in, reach out to us. It's Coach Ambereen. You all know me. Adele on Facebook, and really just have a conversation. It doesn't have to be a call as a client. She would love to hear your story. She would love to serve and to give and to be for you everything that you desire to be. So, as we come to an end, I want to say thank you so much, Adele, for giving
Oh,
us your time, your wisdom, your energy, and this beautiful share. This
thank you.
show, yeah, this show can be heard on Spanglish Radio Network. Please check out spanglishworld.ca for all the news and the programming. As we close this session today, my prayer is that this show will embark us on a path to be grateful for all the blessings that we have, to accept the unfoldings of life, and to commit to values and dreams which will allow us to tap into our own greatness. Because I have tawakkul, just faith in every single one of us. When we unleash our authenticity, we start to live intentionally. Remember, there's only one of you, one life designed by excellence. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it. Most importantly, live into it with intention to better serve you. Thank you so much, folks.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye, Ambereen. I love you, girl. Bye.